Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn at Work session titled Eat Well, Spend Less. The program is developed by Get Moving, Get Healthy New Jersey Workforce and funded by the New Jersey Prevention Network. It's based on the original PowerPoint created by Dr. Karen Ensley. Isn't it a challenge? How do I serve a balanced diet on a balanced budget? How can I do this for my family? It seems the cost of food continues to rise and the nutritional requirements rise as well. So, how are we able to balance the two and make it work for you? The bottom line is it means getting the nutrition you and your family need at a price you can afford. So, let's explore some ways of doing that. The high cost of living really makes it tough on a family today, doesn't it? Because we know we have needs for our nutrition. We know that we need to have a good physical health and be productive at work and play and feel good about ourselves. Good nutrition is really what counts to help make you feel good about yourself and be good at work, feel well, be able to get some things done. But you also, on the other hand, know that you need to have low cost meals, or else you basically can't afford to have those good foods. So the food you buy must be cost effective. So when you're shopping for food, you need to know where you're basically going to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of nutrition for your dollars spent. And of course, you and your family want to make sure that your meals are not only tasty, but they're healthy as well. What makes a balanced lifestyle? Well, you need to have variety, a whole different types of foods in your day. You need to have lots of colorful fruits and vegetables, some fresh, some could be frozen. You need to have a variety of proteins in your day as well as grains. And also, you hear this all the time that a balanced diet means moderation. And it's really very simple because what that means is that you need to limit the fat, the cholesterol, the salt or sodium, and added sugars and calories as well without compromising good nutrition. Now, that's a little tricky. We'll give you some tips about how to do that. You also need to be concerned about the proportion of your food. And we have another program, a lunch and learn session about that, so you can take a look at it and see what you think. But basically, proportion is balancing the calories with healthy foods. That may take a little bit of practice, but I'm sure once you get a little bit of experience, you'll be able to do that without any difficulty. You also need activity. We must have activity in our day because that's what helps us balance food and our lifestyle to keep it healthy is food and physical activity. We need to have healthy food, we need to have healthy amount of physical activity in our day no matter what our age. So that applies for your children, for your parents and grandparents as well. Let's talk about grains for just a minute. Half of your grains in your day should be whole grains, according to choosemyplate.gov. And you could look for whole wheat pastas, whole wheat products, brown rice to get enough nutrients and fiber in your day. So make sure you're choosing at least half of your grains through the day as being whole grains. You'll need to become a good label reader to be able to do that. You may want to look for day-old baked goods because the price goes down once the items have not been sold the day they were baked or whatever. So look for those day-old products. The quality is still there and the good nutrition is still there as well. How about vegetables? There are times in the year when some supermarkets in our area have canned vegetable, canned fruit specials. And sometimes they even have frozen food specials. So stocking up on them, having them in your pantry, ready to go, because things can be very quick to prepare, is really a great idea. But don't thaw them if they're frozen until you're ready to use them, because that helps to maintain the freshness and the nutrition too. Try some store brands. You'd be surprised that some of the store brands that are available are as good as the national name brands. In fact, in many cases, the national name brand companies package store brands for various stores. So you know you're getting the same type of product. Make sure you include lots of dark green vegetables, orange, yellow, leafy foods, a whole variety of fruits and vegetables in your diet. And if you can get them fresh in season, that's the best time of all because the freshness is at the peak, the nutrition is at their peak when we're able to use fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season. And here in the Garden State, we have opportunities to buy a wide variety of fruits and vegetables when they are in season. How about fruit? Buy fruit juice. Make sure it's 100% juice because if you buy drink or an aid, for example, um, they have no nutrients in them usually, maybe very, very few, but they have lots and lots of sugar. Concentrates are an option because they're less expensive, so you may want to consider that. But the key is to buy only what you and your family will eat in the period of time when these foods are fresh. Again, go fresh in season. There are lots of farmers markets around. If you live in urban areas, I'm sure you know where the farmers markets are on weekends or maybe a particular day of the week. If you live in a rural part of the state, then you know where the farm markets are in your area. Stop by, see what's available, see what is perhaps day old and maybe very good for you to use. How about milk products? You want to buy the amount of milk that your family will use because buying a large container when your family doesn't drink a large container within 5 to 7 day period of time is wasteful. So maybe buying a smaller package might work for your family, perhaps a half-gallon package. Of course, if you have a large family and you have a lot of milk drinkers, then you want to go with a bigger package. It's always a good idea to choose low fat or skim products because they have the same nutrients. All they're missing is the fat. So that's a good option for most people. Non fat dry milk is very, very inexpensive. And that would be the type of milk where you would take a milk powder, and it is milk, and then mix it in with water. And you can use that wonderfully in your cooking very often and for drinking. If your family doesn't care for the taste of it for drinking, then have some on hand to use when they're not going to be drinking it, when you're using it in another type of a dish that you're creating. Buy solid blocks of cheese wherever possible and grate or slice it at home because this will save you a tremendous amount of money. Look at the cost of single sliced cheese, for example, American cheese or Colby cheese, something like that, cheddar. Look at the price difference between when they are individually packaged and when you can buy a larger block and cut it yourself. It makes a huge difference. Cheeses are wonderful for your diet, especially low fat, especially when you eat them in moderation. Cottage cheese is a high protein snack, perhaps, or even part of your lunch. Cheddar also is very good. So don't overlook cheeses, but don't overdo cheeses either because they do have quite a bit of fat and calories in them as well. Let's talk about meat and beans. You want to be sure to choose your meat carefully because you want to make sure that it's as lean as possible as you can afford. But you can think about buying larger cuts of meat, or what I see very often in the supermarket is a family pack, for example, of chicken legs, chicken wings, chicken breasts, um, thighs, or whatever. And I buy those packages and then I break them down into smaller units and put them in a freezer bag so that I can have them on hand for when I want to have a dinner for just the two of us. So it's a much better price when I buy the larger amount and I break it down into smaller packages myself and put it in the freezer. Poultry and fish are usually better choices at least a couple of times a week over red meat. So the recommendation is that you should have fish 2 or more times per week. And you may want to have poultry another couple of times per week and kind of limit the red meat. I know you've been hearing that message for a long time. Some frozen and canned fish does cost less than fresh. If you're a fan of canned salmon, for example, or tuna, then you may want to use that. But take a look in the freezer aisle because a fresh fish that was frozen right after it was cooked is still very nutritious and easy for you to prepare. I'm not talking about the kind that is heavily breaded or in a sauce. I'm talking about a simple frozen fish. You could look for cod or some type of white fish, and they're very versatile in a variety of recipes. You can buy a whole chicken for much less than the parts of the chicken if you just take a little time. Perhaps look up online how to debone a chicken or how to cut apart a chicken. Take some time to do that because it's certainly worth your while in terms of your pocketbook. Peas, beans, lentils, these are excellent high protein foods that don't carry the amount of fat that we see in our meats. So we highly recommend that you incorporate more of these foods into your diet. And next time you're in the supermarket, take a look at canned beans, pinto beans, or cannellini beans, or black beans. Look at the cost of a can. It's not very much at all. You could make a wonderful healthy dish for your family using some canned beans. Lots of times you need to rinse them before you use them. So open the can, put them in a little colander, and rinse them off, and you'll have a much better product to work with. What kinds of information do you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about that budget? How much can you spend on food? You need to think about that, plan for it, and create your grocery shopping list around what you can afford and what you can prepare for your family. Remember, there are some food groups that we need to incorporate into our day every day. In fact, more than one time a day. We need to include grains. And remember, I said half of those grains should be whole grains. We need vegetables and fruit. We need dairy products, preferably low fat would be the best. And we need lean meats and beans in our diet every single day. So think about how to best do that. A little planning ahead of time really makes a huge difference in how you spend your money. So let's talk about that. Start with a meal plan. If you're very ambitious, you could think about what you could prepare for the next month and actually put it on a calendar. But if you plan even for 1 week at a time, you will find that grocery shopping is so much easier and you'll have everything you need on hand at the time that you need to prepare the food. So I've done this plenty of times. Lay out a plan. What am I going to prepare for the next week? Is there some things I can prepare that will last maybe as leftovers or planned overs for another day or two? Absolutely. That's what I want to do. I want to save my time for other things I need to do. Make your shopping list and have some input from your family. In another Lunch and Learn session, we talked about having your children help you plan the meals. What would they like to have that would be healthy and nutritious? Have them help you develop the shopping list. And of course, you need to leave a little bit of leeway just in case your schedule changes. If you have to be out, for example, and not home at dinner time or whatever, how are you going to make up for that? Take a look online or in your newspaper and see what's on sale this week. If you find foods that are on sale, perhaps it's chicken of some type, and you buy family packs and you break it into pieces you can use and freeze it, that will go a long way. Think about coupons. Some stores today won't even take your coupons. All they want to see is your shopper reward card, and you automatically get your coupons. Use food that's in season because that's when it's the freshest and the cheapest. And local foods are always better if you can make that happen. Let's make that shopping list now. Take a look at your meal plan and what you already have in your cabinet, your pantry, your refrigerator, and then make that list of what you need that you don't already have because then it will be right there So when you get home from work today, you can say, oh, I know exactly what I'm making. I have it all in my cabinet and I can get started right away and not waste any time. But don't forget to be creative too. You may want to experiment with different ways of preparing various foods. I don't know about you, but I love to search online for different ways to cook a variety of foods, to try something different once in a while. And sometimes the results are just wonderful. Very few times has it been a disaster because I know what my family likes. I know what kinds of foods would work for us and the amount of time that we have to prepare. So take a look online, talk to some of your friends about some of their favorite foods too. Try to vary the combination of the foods that you're preparing and always plan to use leftovers. Cook once, eat twice. That's my favorite rule. In fact, in my crock pot at home right now is a dinner that I've prepared for my husband and I that we should be able to eat for 3 nights in a row. That's a time saver, isn't it? Okay. How do you be price conscious? The prices are just going up all the time, it seems like, in the supermarket and kind of hard to keep track of. But keep a little reference, little cheat sheet maybe of low cost recipes that your family likes. So if the price of some of the other foods you were thinking about buying is too high, you can always have the foods that you can fall back on. Compare store prices. This is so easy today online because you can see what various supermarkets are selling the foods for. And don't buy junk foods. They add empty calories, which means little to no nutritional value, and they cost a lot of money. So try to keep them off of your list. Want to be very organized about this. You want to always know what you have in your pantry and about how much of it you need to keep on hand, and keep a list of what you need at the store. I find my cell phone is so useful for this because I have a grocery list all of the time on my phone and I can add something to it or change it if I need to. Really helps me be organized. You might want to estimate the cost of what you're purchasing before you go so that you're not surprised and get that sticker shock when you get to the register. How about some shopping tips? You always want to make sure that you choose stores that are clean, they have good quality and low prices. I know the supermarket that I shop at most of the time is a very busy supermarket. Sometimes that's a little bit annoying, but the truth is that the food is moving quicker, so I know that the food is a little bit more fresh. Think about how much driving you have to do to get to these stores, and if you need to go to bakery or specialty stores as well. I like one stop shopping at a large supermarket because I can get my fresh bakery products, fish, fresh meat, dairy, and all the other foods that I need in one place. Okay, you have your list before you go. Make sure you have enough time for shopping. If the last thing that you want to do is rush through your shopping because you may forget something. And always make sure you eat before you go shopping. You probably already know that if you go to the supermarket hungry, you're going to spend more money because everything is going to be appealing to you. Be really prepared with your smartphone or a calculator so you can get an idea of how much you're spending as you go through the supermarket. Once you're in the store, you may find that there are specials that were not advertised, and maybe you could take advantage of that. And you want to look at unit pricing as well. Let's look at the example here at the bottom. The price per ounce for this particular food is 59 cents an ounce, but it weighs 10.75 ounces. So our total price is going to be $6.35. So make sure you take a look, do a little quick calculation while you're right there in the supermarket. Okay, now you're ready to purchase something. Make sure you read the label and compare various brands. The store brand is usually cheaper than a national brand, but make sure they do compare in terms of ingredients and the serving size and that type of thing. So you have to do a little bit of homework, You can easily do this before you go into the store today with your smartphone, but you can also do it while you're in the supermarket as well. Avoid convenience foods whenever possible. These are the most expensive foods in the supermarket. These are the foods that are ready prepared for you. They're already cooked, or they're instant, or they're individually packaged. They're already seasoned, for example, or how about prepackaged meals? Now we see even fresh prepackaged meals in our supermarket, as well as frozen foods, too. Prepackaged sandwiches are always going to cost you money. These foods really add up in the cost, but they also add up in the fat, the sodium, and the sugar that's in those types of foods. So, how can you make the best of this situation? You need to learn more about nutrition. And thank you for participating because you are learning about nutrition by participating in these programs. Plan healthy meals that fit your budget. This is a key to success. But then you have to shop carefully and stay within your food budget. You need to make up a plan, and a plan can help you be the best shopper and get the most for your money. Thank you for participating in today's program. We hope you take advantage of some of our other Lunch and Learn series programs. Have a nice day.